And welcome to my fourth video. What we're going to be doing is the second part of our Middle Ages intro. You should, by this point, hopefully you either printed this out or you wrote down these questions. Again, don't worry about all of this. These are the only questions you have to worry about on the front. Now, if you have not done these questions, you need to pause this video and go onto Canvas, find these questions, and find the reading that goes along with it. So make sure you do that and then come back. All right, if you do have these questions, what you're going to do is we're going to flip to the back. For some reason, it came out sideways. But basically what you want to do, if you want to do this on a piece of lined paper, that's fine. You're going to put essential question at the top. Again, we're on the back of page 2B. You're going to put essential question, leave yourself some space. Then you're going to create a little side. The little side will say questions on there. The big side will say notes. What we're going to be doing is the notes that I'm going to give you right now, we're going to put on this big side. We'll do this little side later. Big side now, little side later. Everything we're doing, we're going to put in this big side. Okay, if you've got to set yours up and you need to pause, make sure you pause this video whenever, but I'm moving on. So what we're going to do is first we're going to write down our essential question. Let me share my screen with you all. Scooch this out of the way. Okay, so this is the Middle Ages intro. Most of this is in red, so you don't have to write it down, but I included this map. I crossed off the map on the top of the worksheet, mainly because we're not doing anything with coloring. But this is how Europe kind of broke up after the fall of Rome. You had France, you had the Holy Roman Empire, which is modern-day Germany and a few other countries, a place called Iberia, just Spain, you got Britain. Italy wasn't one full country. It was a bunch of little countries, but we'll talk about all that stuff later. What I care about now is our essential question. So right at the top, where it says, you know, on your notes, essential question, I want you to put this down. It says, how did the German tribes and the Catholic Church work together? That's the question that we're going to answer by the end of this class or by the end of this lecture. So again, we're going to put this, once you finish putting down the essential question, then we're going to put everything else on the notes side. And write this down in the essential question. If you have a highlighter, please highlight that so it kind of pops out. Now, again, remember, anytime during this video, if you need to pause it, please do, so you don't fall behind. Now, again, we're going to put this in the big side. We're going to put number 1, the fall of Rome. Here I have a picture of Rome burning. A bunch of Germans showed up and burned the place to the ground. And that's important because Rome was a very powerful empire, but also the city of Rome was its capital. And when your capital falls, that's not great for your country. Now again, if it's in red, don't write it. We already know this from the front of the worksheet. Trade was disrupted. When your main city is destroyed, you're not going to be able to do much trading, and that's where you make your money. People are forced to leave the cities. They've got to go to the countryside because this is where these Germans are attacking these cities. That's where the wealth is. Now, what I want you to do is think about the questions from the front, and I want you to answer these questions. Where did these people go, and what did they do for, for their living? What did they do for their jobs now? So I want you to look at the front of those questions. Maybe look at question 5 on the front, and that's where you're going to find the answer. And I want you to think about that, what do people in that area do? So while you're answering that, I'm just going to put this up there. There's also decline of learning. When you're worried about getting attacked, having everything stolen from you, the last thing you're learning about, you want to do is, learn stuff, learn how to read and write. So a lot of people are going to become illiterate, meaning they can't read. Doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means they can't read. They have things that are more important, like not dying. So again, make sure you answer these questions anytime you have to. Pause this. Now we're going to move on. We're going to still put this on the real big right side where it says notes. Number 2, Germanic tribes are going to take over. And these are just some kingdoms. This is what we are going to do on the top of that worksheet if we were here. But they create all these different kingdoms like Visigoths and Burgunds and Franks, which are eventually become France. And of course, we see the Byzantine Empire is still there. I mean, this is around the same time as the Byzantine Empire, the Islamic empires, everything that we've been learning about since the beginning of the year. It's all at the same time. But I want you to write this down and highlight it because this is an important, essential fact for the society that's going to develop in Europe. German concept of strong family values held their kingdoms together. Again, let's write that down and highlight it. Now, this idea that your country is a family, this is very important for the Middle Ages. This idea that, you know, these are your brothers and sisters. It keeps people loyal. And what happens is you got these Germanic chiefs. Usually a Germanic chief was the biggest and strongest guy who was the best at warfare. He has a band of warriors and they pledge loyalty to him. This is very important because these Germanic chiefs are going to become the kings and queens of Europe, the royalty, the nobility. That's how kings and queens come to be. They're just the biggest, strongest dude, and they take over. And that's how they become upper class, nobility, kings and queens. But it's very important, this ideology to pledge your loyalty, to swear your allegiance to someone. This is very important when we talk about the society that's going to develop in Europe. It comes from this idea that you swear fealty. Fealty is like loyalty and, you know, you'll fight for them, all of these things, to this one leader. Again, guys, if you want, pause this at any time. Number 3. And this is a real big thing too. Germans convert to Christianity. Before they had, they were polytheistic. They believed in, Thor and Odin, Freya, and all these other Germanic and Nordic gods. But they're going to convert to Christianity for a bunch of reasons that we don't really need to go over now. But they're going to create an alliance with the Roman Catholic Church. This is also important because the church and Christianity are going to control the society of the Middle Ages almost the entire time. So this is also going to help further spread the religion of Christianity. At the spreading first in the Roman Empire, the Byzantines kept it going, and now in Europe, because of these German tribes, Christianity becomes the #1 religion in this region, this continent of Europe. Now, guys, this is also going to mark the beginning of religious war with Muslims. Before, like we learned earlier, Muslims and Jews and Christians originally got along. They were people of the book. But now that land and money and power starts getting in the way, they start to fight over that and they make it about religion. Even though it's not really about that, it's about money, land, and power. Now, something that I want you to highlight, a key vocab word is monasteries. This is the only place where anyone could read. And there are these areas that are populated with monks and nuns. And they're the most educated communities. They'd be kind of sheltered away and they'd write Bibles because all books were handwritten back then. So they'd write Bibles and religious pamphlets. These monasteries are the only place where any sort of education is going on. I'd like you to highlight that term. And you want to pause right here if you need some time. Now, number 4, because of this, the Pope is going to become all powerful. For those of you who don't know, the Pope is the head of the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope today is named Francis, but he does not have the same power, all-encompassing power that the Pope had during the Middle Ages. The Pope was more powerful than kings. And this started because of this guy right here. His name is Gregory the Great. In the year 590, that's a year, he was named Pope, and he expanded the Pope's power. You know, he made it so that the Pope could do more than just, you know, rule over Christians. He could raise armies. If he called these Europeans to go to the Middle Ages, or I'm sorry, the Middle East, and fight the Muslims for the control of Jerusalem, you would do it. Even if you had to take care of your farm or your kingdom, the Pope comes first. So he's going to raise armies. He's going to repair roads, infrastructure. The Roman Catholic Church is going to become important for, you know, making sure people can get around. Also punish kings. There was this one king, and his name was Henry, and he didn't really get along with a specific pope. I believe his name was Severus. No. Well, I'll tell you this story later when we get to that, to excommunication. But he could punish kings. So, yeah, and we'll talk about, and I'll clarify later how he could punish kings, but we'll save that for another day. So anyways, this is a churchly kingdom ruled by the Pope. It's the central theme of the Middle Ages. They're going to call it Christendom, a Christian kingdom. So I'd like you to highlight that idea when you're finished writing it down. If you're still writing, make sure you pause the video until you're done. Now, once you're done writing, it says on the little left side, so we put the notes on the big side. On the little side, I want you to create 3 simple test questions to go along with the notes. I want you to put the questions by where you would find the answers in the notes. Also, make sure you are specific. Like, why did he do that is not a good question. Use names, titles, you know, who were these Germanic, you know, who was loyal to these Germanic chiefs, something like that. So that's that. When you're done with the questions, what you're going to do, let me share my screen again. You got to take a picture of both sides of this worksheet. So here, one side, so I can see myself. You got to take a picture of this, so I know you did the questions, and a picture of this, so I know you did the notes. What you'll do is you will go to a canvas. Just got to find my canvas. You know what, I'll just share my screen. My whole screen. Oh, let's get out of this first. Let me share my screen. So you go to Canvas. Let's go home. I'm going to put it in student view so it makes more sense. It's not all this confusion that I have on mine. So you go here. Sorry, period. Okay. Okay, I haven't even uploaded those, but what you need to do is sign on to Canvas. There'll be a place there you can upload it. You know what? I'll just show you on my own. That's what I'm going to do. Leave student view. I haven't uploaded it yet on my thing. So what you'll do is you'll go to mid-ages intro assignment. This is where you got the worksheet, where you got the reading, where you see this video right here. Now, when you're done, take a picture of both and upload it to Canvas. You've got to click Submit Assignment first. Then you'll upload the pages just like before. So that's that. Make sure you upload your stuff. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'm going to be leaving my Teams meeting open for any of that. Have a good day.